Good morning, this is Faith at Faith and Books, and I'm going to do my Shakespeare Saturday, first installment, and I'll try to make it short. I'm just going to begin at the beginning. So the way this author sets things up, the author's name is Michael Macarone, and he's written other books too, of the same type. Where are they? One's like on mythology. Where are they? Brush Up Your Bible. By Jove, Brush Up Your Mythology, and It's Greek to Me, Brush Up Your Classics. So they're really fun books. I call them bathroom books. You stick them in your bathroom, you just pick them up and read them. Anyway, begins the quotable and the notable, famous phrases from Shakespeare. So I'm just going to do the first four, maybe, see how much time we have. So the first one's All the World's a Stage. And this is something that people kind of quote, and my impression was that it was sort of this wisdom dispensed by Shakespeare. And he says the character speaking it's from As You Like It, and it looks like Jacques, but he says that they pronounced it J-keys or J-crees back then. So I'll just read the little excerpt from you. So J-key says, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. So that's As You Like It. And that's sort of quoted as this wisdom, but he's saying that no, that this particular character is meant to come off as sort of trite and pretentious, and that the idea of the world being a stage was already cliched by Shakespeare's time. So I thought that was interesting. So, and I never thought, I always was underwhelmed by the depth of the observation anyway. So I kind of, it was satisfying to see that it wasn't meant to be this deep thing, the way people seem to quote it. So that's the first one, all the world's a stage. The second one is the phrase Antic disposition, and this is from Hamlet. And this did not make it into my world of speaking or thinking. So, I don't think I've ever used the phrase antic disposition. I think I confuse the word antic with frantic, maybe. I say antics, like if it's like the 4-year-old, if he's doing something crazy, I'll say, I don't know if I'll say it, but I can think, he's up to his antics. Or you think of, I don't know, something like Lucille Ball, I Love Lucy or something, up to her antics. So I use it more as a noun? Okay. Anyway, so here is the phrase. This is from Hamlet. But come, here as before, never so help you mercy, how strange or odd some air I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet, to put an antic disposition on, that you at such time seeing me never shall, with arms encumbered thus, or this head shake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrase as, well, we know, or we could, and if we would, or if we list to speak, or there be, and if they might, or such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me. This do swear, so grace and mercy at your most need help you. So he's saying, just go along with me acting crazy, right? That's so he says we use antic to mean madcap, but at this time Hamlet is using it not madcap. It's not like this light, frothy thing, but it's closer to bizarre, irrational, threatening. So anyway, he goes on. Anyway, that didn't really speak to me so much because that really has not made it into my own personal vocabulary. This one, though, has bated breath. I use that phrase a lot. And I've been misusing it. It's not what it seems to be. So this is from The Merchant of Venice. And it's Shylock speaking. All right, who's he speaking to? Antonio. Yeah, so Antonio is going to get a loan from Shylock, and this is Shylock's response. Go to then, you come to me and you say, Shylock, we would have moneys, you say so. Shall I bend low and in a bondsman key, with bated breath and whispering humbleness say this, Fair sir, you spat on me Wednesday last. You spurned me such a day another time. You called me dog. And for these courtesies I'll lend you thus much moneys. So, when he says bated breath, with bated breath and whispering humbleness, like in a bondsman's key. So a bondsman is a slave, and the bated breath, I always think of it as when, you get shocking news or there's a lot of suspense. It's kind of gasping and holding your breath in anticipation of something. But it isn't really that. It's, do you expect me to grovel, because you treat me really cruelly, and then you come and you want a loan from me? Am I supposed to just sort of grovel in front of you and whisper and cower? And so bated breath really means to sort of whisper. So he says, he mocks the idea that he ought to respond with bated breath, a much misunderstood phrase. To bate, like to abate, means to diminish, reduce, or blunt. With bated breath, therefore, means in a hushed voice. So we've adopted the phrase to mean most often with one's breath held. And I definitely use it in the sense of with one's breath held. So I thought that was really interesting. I've been misusing it. And I think I've also been using this one, too, the be-all and the end-all. I use it to mean like, all-encompassing, or even like the best of something. It's the be-all and the end-all of something. But I don't think that's the way Shakespeare intended it. So this is from Macbeth. Macbeth says, and he's talking about murdering, King Duncan. If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. So that's Macbeth thinking, what are the consequences going to be of murdering King Duncan? And will he be able to just wrap it all up neatly and there wouldn't be any unintended consequences or not? He's wondering, kind of out loud about that. So he goes into the two different phrases there, trammel up the consequence. So a trammel is like a fishing net. And he's saying if we could trammel up, if we could catch up all the unintended consequences. So that's what he means. A trammel in Shakespeare's day most often meant a fishing net. But another obsolete sense of it is something you would bind up a corpse with. So there's like a double entendre there. When Macbeth doubts whether the assassination could trammel up the consequence, therefore he doubts that the act of killing Duncan will catch up in itself, as in a net, the consequences of that action. And this is really interesting. This is the first use of the word assassination, and they think Shakespeare invented that word. And then the next one is be-all and end-all. We use the be-all and the end-all in two rather different ways, neither of which pays much respect to Macbeth's intention. On one hand, the be-all and the end-all is something superlative in its category, and I think I use it as that, a paragon or an extreme. On the other hand, the be-all and the end-all is an all-consuming project or passion, and idée fixe. I don't use it that way. I use it in the first way. Both uses, which meet somewhere in the vicinity of the last word in the matter, pick up on the literal meaning of Macbeth's words while slighting the context. Macbeth speaks of an action, not a person or thing. He wonders if that action will be all that is required and end all that he must go through to be king. We refer to what is all it can possibly be and ends all competition. What? We refer to what is all it can possibly and ends all competition, or just something that overrides all the normal limits. I don't quite understand that sentence, but anyway, Macbeth would like his deed to be limited, while we admire a nearly unlimited excellence or a passion without bounds. I don't really use that in that sense. I use it as a, on the one hand, the be-all and the end-all is something superlative in its category, a paragon or an extreme. I think that's how I use it. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do. But I think that's pretty interesting, especially to learn how we've been misinterpreting these famous phrases from Shakespeare. So anyway, I'm just doing this as a fun lark and a nice diversion. to sort of self-educate, and I'm just bringing you along with it. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.